Hey gamers, it's K-Wing here. Welcome to episode 1 of Turtles Month, a special month-long tribute to a blast from my childhood, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Actually, the reason I'm doing this is because the Green Machine turned 25 this year, and so did my little sister. Anyway, this is episode 110, and a look back at two games to call themselves Turtles the Arcade Game. So please join me while we stroll down memory lane together. The first game we're looking at is Turtles the 1989 arcade game, followed by Turtles 2 the arcade game for the NES. It's ninja time, folks. Channel 6 is on fire. Splinter sends the Turtles to rescue April. Hang on, April O'Neil, help is coming. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the second video game to feature the teenage superheroes, and it's a 4-player side-scrolling beat-em-up game, where the goal of the game is simply rescue April and stop Shredhead. The heroes in the half-shell go through 8 stages fighting multicolored Foot Clan robots. You can tell what type of weapon the Foot will use based on the color that they wear. After the climax of each of the levels, the Turtles face off in a boss battle against a number of famous fiends like Rocksteady, Bebop, Krang, and the Shredder. Since this game is true old school, it uses a high score system. Every time you get 200 points, you earn a free guy. But the concept is rather simple. Go through the levels fighting off waves of the Foot, defeat a boss, enter the Technodrome, and face the Shredder. Since this game has so many different control schemes over the years, I'm not really going to be able to cover all of them, so instead I'll just be focusing on the basics. The Turtles arcade game allows you to attack either in front of you or behind you. By pressing both the attack and the jump button at the same time, your turtle can pull off a devastating one-hit kill. Pressing the jump button makes them jump, and you can combine this with the attack button to do a karate kick in the air. In case you're wondering, the wife and I were playing this off the Turtles 2 Battle Nexus for the GameCube. When playing with other people, it's a good idea to use some type of teamwork, as opposed to just walking around and button mashing. Also, be sure to share the pizza. That way you actually live longer. It should come as no surprise to you guys that this game is modeled after the hit 1987 animated series of the same name. All the Turtles are bright green and wear brighter colors than they did in the TV show. Mikey and Donnie have very bright colors, and Mikey's colors are actually yellow instead of orange. The graphics for the most part is what you would come to expect from an arcade game, being beautiful 2D art that looked very much like the cartoon show. All the bosses are identical to their show counterparts as well. The levels I thought that looked the greatest was the burning building and the sewers. Now, the burning building had the rising flames, and I liked how the Foot Ninjas would kick down doors. The animation in this level was top-notch for its day as well. Now, for the sewers, the detail of both the cobble walkway and the bricks on the wall looks great. Sometimes alligators will float by the bottom of the screen, too, and Mousers will eat their way out of the walls and attack the Turtles. Konami composer Izumi was responsible for the awesome Turtles arrangements for the arcade games. Just about everybody has their favorite Turtles tune in this game. Izumi's first composed video game was supposedly the original Turtles arcade game, and you wouldn't know that by listening to it. Since the game is heavily inspired after the hit TV show, the music reflects that. Throughout the game, Izumi hints at the Turtles' main theme throughout the game, which I loved. I'm a big fan of when composers showcase the hero's theme into the actual composition, because it's like the whole music is around the theme, and not to mention that the theme is totally radical. The very first time I played this game was in a movie theater arcade with my dad in 1989. I played as Michelangelo and he played as Leonardo. I just remember having a blast playing it with him. Even though we didn't get very far, I think to the sewers, my dad said this game would be great if you could actually bring it home and play it on the NES. What's funny, in 1991, we would get that chance with Turtles 2 for the NES, but I'll save that story for that game. I've played this arcade game at so many places throughout my life that it's funny. In Albany, New York, this same arcade game was both at the Discovery Zone and the Crossgates Mall, up till like 1994. Then when we moved to Freeport, Illinois in 96, this game was, and I still believe, is at the Skates Station. When K-Wife and I were dating way back in 2003, the arcade I took her to after a movie in Rockford had this game. Now I spent about $5 on this game, and we had a blast playing it. Now that was an awesome date. Afterwards, we ate some pizza in the food court just like the Turtles. We are still both huge Turtles fans to this day. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the arcade game was produced by Konami in 1988 and released internationally in 1989, arriving in Japan in 1990. TMNT the arcade game is a side-scrolling beat-em-up based on the 1987 animated series of the same name. In Europe, the game is called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles because the word ninja was illegal. This game capitalized on Turtle Mania's peak popularity from 1989 to 1991. Every kid on the planet had some type of Turtles merchandise, including yours truly, whether it be the toys, bed sheets, video games, jammies, or eating Turtles breakfast cereal every morning. Kids today have no idea what living in the 1980s was like. Heaven on earth and merchandise galore of all your favorite cartoons and video games. I miss those days. There is a reason many gamers call the 80s the golden age. Anyway, by 1990 and 92, Konami began porting their popular arcade game to many different platforms, like the ZX Spectrum, Amiga, Amstrad, CPC, Atari ST, and of course IBM. However, the most popular port of this game was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, released for the NES, with new bosses, 2 new stages, and an increased difficulty too. The game released in Japan in 1990, the US and Europe in 91. Konami released Turtles the arcade game for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Battle Nexus for GameCube, PS2, and Xbox as a hidden bonus game on October 19th of 2004. Many fans were very annoyed that the re-released game had been stripped of its music and voiceover. This was due to copyright switching hands, and the 4Kids TV, now owned the rights to the Turtles at the time, so CBS no longer applied. So since Warner Brothers now owned the rights to the classic Turtles, including the theme song, the game's music had to be replaced. By 2007, Konami had worked out all the legal bugs and re-released the original Turtles arcade game for Xbox Live. Oddly enough, by March of 2007, Konami had completely lost the copyrights to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, including the past games. This was due to Ubisoft now retaining the rights, but we'll talk about this more later. Well, since this is the Battle Nexus version and players only need to input coins by pressing a button whenever they want, I have really nothing to pass on to my fellow gamers. However, if you're playing this in an arcade, if you can find it with 3 other people, make sure to share the pizza and give it to the person with the lowest health. Also, watch each other's back and use some type of teamwork when playing. And that's all I've got. You can pick up this game cheap for the GameCube, PS2, or Xbox, or better yet, if you have a 360, then you can download the original on Xbox Arcade. Alrighty then, the first problem I have with this game has always been the boss fights. Now, in later games, you could see how much health the boss has. Here you have no such luck whatsoever. This has always annoyed me. My only complaints for this game has to do with the Battle Nexus version and the removing of both the music and sound. Being somebody who grew up with the original Teens in Green, I was really disappointed when I unlocked the original arcade game to discover that the intro wasn't the only thing missing from this game. All the music was too. What they replaced for the music was absolutely dreadful, and it felt like the cheesy, lame arcade music from bad games. So to this day, that still bugs me. This new annoying theme that they play would repeat over and over again too. None of the original voice actors did the arcade game anyway, so I'm still scratching my head as to why they removed the actual voiceovers for the port of Battle Nexus. The gameplay was still great and all, but I actually got really bored playing this game with the crappy music and sound. It didn't bring back any of the happy memories at all. In all honesty, it felt like I was playing a terrible ROM game that somebody had added their own music to, and that's a real shame.